Hi, it's John and welcome to the channel, 7:05 a.m. Hope you're having a great start to your work week. I've got my big blue mug of coffee. It is Monday, July the 7th. Hope you had a great weekend as well. It was rather cool and damp here in Calgary for the start of the Calgary Stampede. Expecting to get really hot, particularly tomorrow, up to 32 degrees, which I love. I love summer. I like when it gets hot. And I'm getting going late today, as you can tell by the late hour I'm doing this video, but it took me a while to get inspired for today's video. And the person that inspired me was Pierre Poilievre. He was in town this past weekend for the Calgary Stampede. As Calgary becomes a political soapbox, Mark Carney was here as well. But he said something that perfectly described why I am a conservative, maybe you as well, but also why I want an independent Alberta. So we'll get to that in just a moment. But I wanted to start off with something else he said during his speech over the weekend. And he did this at the expense of Mark Carney. And let's just hear what he had to say here. A little fun to start things off.
And so let me start in a spirit of nonpartisanship as a Calgarian to welcome Prime Minister Mark Carney to his very first Stampede in this role. And he had, of course, to do the customary thing and flip some pancakes. Now, he thought he would be great at it, because in his trade talks with Trump, he's had so much experience flip-flopping.
So it's his first time in this role, and for a lot of you, you're hoping it's the last time he's at the Stampede in this role. In case you missed it, by the way, here's Carney doing some flipping.
Prime Minister Mark Carney was up bright and early to attend the Calgary.
So he made an absolute mess of the pancake, and it's been like pancake wars on X this morning. It's been insane. The right going after Carney for not being able to flip a pancake and the left defending him. It's all rather petty. But that's the way things are in Canada now. So what did Poilievre have to say? Well, Poilievre's running in the by-election here. I hope he wins. I want to see him back in question period. I think he's one of the best in question period ever, and I think he will just hammer Mark Carney. It'll be wonderful to see. I hope he wins his riding for sure, because I think the people the left are supporting is an independent. I believe her name is Bonnie Critchley, and her stance on doing experimenting on little kids who have some mental health issues, I find rather loathsome. I won't go any farther than that. But what did Poilievre have to say that so inspired me this morning? See if you find this inspirational as well. Let me just flip over here. Here we go.
By blocking you from doing something and then making you ask the government to help you do it, it makes you reliant on them. It puts them at the center of all power, in charge of your life. And that is their mission, that is their goal. Mark Carney wants a full government takeover of our economy. He wants more control over your life, so elites and insiders like him control and profit from everything. We conservatives, by contrast, we believe in freedom. We want you to have the ability to control your own destiny and make your own course. We believe in freedom of enterprise, freedom of speech, thought, religion, expression, and more. We want government that minds its own business and leaves people to be free to decide for themselves.
So on the conservative part, that perfectly describes what I'm about. People say, what do you want as a conservative? I know it's rather simplistic, but I simply want to be left alone. For the most part, I would like to keep more of what I earn. And I don't want have to go ask for permission from the government. And on the independence part, that's the other thing he said. We have to ask for permission. And that's what drives me crazy. Alberta should be able to chart its own course forward, and we will be able to prosper. But we have this anchor of the federal government and the federal Liberals and Mark Carney that are dragging us down. So on the conservative side, Poilievre perfectly nails it. And he says we have to ask for permission from Mark Carney. They want control. And with all due respect to Mr. Poilievre, I think things would have been better if he were the prime minister, but things wouldn't have changed all that much because we have to go through the federal government to chart our course. It makes me sick. Case in point, we can look over here at this article right here from Reuters. Carney says new oil pipeline proposal in Canada is highly likely. It should be absolutely positively happening. That's what he should be saying, but he's not, because we have to ask him. He's in control. That's why I want independence. We can do better on our own. If you are sitting on the fence on this, look at this right here. We should have more. It says pipeline. Scott Moe, Danielle Smith, sitting together. We have hundreds of projects we want done. Mark Carney and the Liberal Party and the federal government in Ottawa and the East are going to decide your fate. Danielle Smith, here she is. Alberta won't wait on Ottawa to decide how we keep our community safe. This is talking about a police force. The left's going crazy over this. Why? Ontario has the Ontario Provincial Police, the OPP. Quebec has the Sûreté de Québec. And I don't know what the police force in Newfoundland's called, but they have their own police. Why is this wrong? We've been told by the federal government they're probably going to cut back on funding to the RCMP anywhere. And for real people who live elsewhere, you know, I used to do bike rides just to the east of Calgary. I'd go 40 kilometers and see 3 houses. The RCMP take hours to get to people if there's a problem. If we had our own provincial police force, this is charting our own path. That's what we want here as independent Albertans. I go back to this. This is from 2022. Listen to what she has to say here. Listen to this.
Finally, the Ottawa problem. There can be no doubt that the current NDP Liberal Alliance is just the latest in a long line of Ottawa governments that have frustrated the legitimate aspirations of hardworking Albertans. That stops now. When Ottawa announces policies and laws that attack our economy or violate the rights of our people, or when Ottawa seeks to take control of our sovereign areas of provincial jurisdiction, our UCP government will not enforce those laws and policies in this province, period.
And I'll jump ahead a bit here on the video.
Every single time that they step out of line and intrude on our constitutional rights. Alberta will no longer ask permission from Ottawa to be prosperous and free.
Alberta will no longer ask permission from Ottawa to be prosperous and free. She said that in 2022 at the UCP AGM, and that's exactly what I want. I've said here so many times, we have to beg for things from the federal government, and I'm tired of it. Smith has made this quite clear over and over and over again. When the Liberals were running their leadership campaign all through the federal election into this very day, we want to chart our own course without having to be on our knees begging of Mark Carney, the Liberal government, Ottawa, and the East. We're sick and tired of it. That's the video for today. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. I hope you have a great week. I'll certainly see you tomorrow. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, onward to 35,000 subscribers, and I'll see you in the next one.